What's going on, fans of the My Hero Academia card game? So you're saying to yourself, I am broke. I just spent all of my money to get to Las Vegas to go check out the HLC. What am I supposed to do? I have no money left for cards, but I really want to play in this event. Well, cool thing is we have a Common Grounds event that Jasco is putting on for us. And what this means is that this format will allow you to play only commons and uncommon cards in your deck. So incredibly cheap to play, still should be an absolute blast. What I want to give for you this week is a little mini series that I've got. 5 different decks that I feel like could take down this event. So operating on a budget, no problem. We've got you covered. What we're going to take a look at is just a handful of decks that I feel like could be very competitive, could see a lot of play, could see a lot of success, and potentially even take down the whole thing. What I wanted to give here is the criteria of the deck, or what I felt was necessary to creating or making a deck worthy of taking down this event. And the 3 big things that I see needing to exist within a deck to be competitive in this event is, 1, should either be able to add stats to your attacks via either your character or your foundations or both. It's going to be huge. Doing 3 and 4 damage at a time, really, I don't think is going to amount to enough in this format, and you could really find yourself falling behind. Number 2 would be stat reduction. To counteract what you can anticipate your opponent trying to do, you need to be able to reduce their stats, be it either their speed so you can block more often, or their damage so you take less. And then number 3, I think that the third most important aspect of what would make a solid deck for this format is throw hate. I do feel like we are going to see a solid amount of throws. If you look across the common and uncommon lineup, you'll notice that there are plenty of throws to be found. And again, if you're looking at number 1 and number 3, where you're adding stats to throws, that damage can really add up in a heartbeat. So I think those are the 3 criteria of a solid deck for this event. Doesn't mean you have to have all 3, but those are definitely 3 things that I believe one should consider, and 3 things that I have taken into account for these deck lists. So without further ado, we will jump into it. I hope you appreciate this series and look forward to hearing what you got to say about it. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys all at Vegas.
The deck that I have for you today is going to be Ojiro 2 on Earth. The reason that I think this deck has a really good chance at winning the Common Grounds event at HLC is because you take a look at the character on the surface, and I think that he provides such a big advantage in a Commons and Uncommons only tournament. The fact that he adds so many stats to your attacks means that you can really put out a lot of damage without relying on any specific attack or any specific foundation to assist you in that area. So I feel like having the ability to give that plus speed and plus damage can really overwhelm a lot of different characters and a lot of different builds, especially when you're so limited in your card pool. So again, on the surface, just the pure stats that he gives is such an advantage, I think, going into this unknown tournament, what it's going to look like. On top of that, you have some really strong attacks that can allow you to string together some really nasty attack strings. Things like Hardened Jab, for example, or a Spinning Kick, which allows you to draw cards and continue to attack. You also have the ability to ramp in this deck with cards like Overhead Reversal, Hardened Frenzy, and you have Throws, which can almost guarantee solid damage with Overhead Reversal, Creeping Vine, and Trap Flex. So just a good, well-rounded attack here. And Ojiro giving, like I said, the natural stat buff here is, I feel like, really important to winning this event, as well as the natural inherent ability that he has to throw out really long attack strings of very fast and very powerful attacks. You really can't downplay how important that's going to be, especially in a very limited format. On top of that, on the Earth symbol, you have really good ramp foundations. So a way to get ahead of your opponent early and often. So cards like It Can't Be Fixed and cards like Male Bonding, I think really just generate such a big advantage in a limited format of just, again, being able to overwhelm your opponent in a hurry. So that's why I think that this deck has a really strong chance of taking down this event. On the flip side, though, a reason why I might see this deck struggling would be somewhat matchup dependent. So there are ways that you can shut this deck down, even in a commons and uncommons only format. A big one being Eraserhead 1 really is a good counter to Ojiro in general. So if a lot of people are playing Eraserhead 1, you could struggle with this deck quite a bit. Another one being that it can also just be overwhelmed in a hurry because it doesn't play a whole lot of reliable defense per se. It does have defensive cards in there, such as Resistance, mainly Passionate Guy, again, to create a ramp. You have the other ramp foundations, mainly Friendship, Burst of Damage Negation. There's not a whole lot of speed reduction that exists on Earth. So if your opponent is able to add stats on their side as well, it could be a bit of a struggle, and you could find yourself losing a match fairly quickly. So just as quick as this deck can dish it out, it might end up just taking it as well. So that's kind of where I see this deck maybe struggling a touch. But overall, I view the strength of this deck to be far superior to any weakness that it does have. And again, I believe that the stat padding that Ojiro 2 brings to the table here is wildly important in such a limited format. And I do think that we're going to see this guy see some really good success. And I think that this list has a really solid chance of taking down the whole event. So might be a good one to check out, either to play or to be prepared for. So hope you enjoy this list, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.